The David Bohm Society presents
Now, feelings, the word feeling would suggest it was always something new, but we know a lot of our feelings come from the past. We can remember traumatic experiences, or if you've been insulted, you still feel the insult quite a long time afterward, which could only be due to the memory. But it's quite active nevertheless. It's the activity of the past. And in the past I've suggested previously using a word like felt as thought and thinking, feeling and felt. You see, felt is what has been felt, as a thought is what has been the result of thinking. The felt is what has been the result of feeling, and so on. So and then there are other reactions from the past. So now the point is we're putting all these together under a common name. Now some people may object that these are rather different functions, thinking, feeling, muscles, and so on. Why should we put them under a common name? Or even going outward into society, saying it's social troubles and organizations of companies and organization of the economy. It's all thought, right, I'm saying. Now, you see, when you are thinking, then you're somewhat aware of what's happening. You know you are thinking, you have the intention to think, say, I must think. And therefore, some of these problems are less severe, right? You're ready to see where it's not coherent, at least if you're thinking clearly, and ready to learn some other way of thinking. Learn, that it's not coherent, learn what it means, and then it will give rise to different thought. Right? So in that sense, clear thinking would be, it still involves contradiction and so on, you see, but it's being the attitude to the contradiction that counts. Now, see, all the memories go together, though the functions may be in different parts of the brain or somewhat different, say, of thought, thinking, and feeling. In the memory, they're all mixed as in a soup. I mean, I don't think there's any fundamental... To say memory is about the muscles going one part of the brain, memories of thought go in another part, memories of feeling in another part. But rather, they're all, I suggest they're all mixed like in a soup. Now, they all associate together in that mixture. So that's why it's useful to give it a common name. You see, that's why the thing is so confused, because in some sense there are different functions. And if we don't see it coming out of memory, then we don't notice that though the functions are different, their origin is common. Right? That's useful to give all that one name. And I'm suggesting the name, I think Krishnamurti essentially suggested that's the name thought. Because thought is the most characteristic feature of that area. And you see, in a way, you could say if you're doing something habitually, it's a kind of thought still at work, right? Or feelings that arise habitually, you see. But we don't see where they come from, and we treat them either as independent functions or as part of correct perception or a source of truth or something. But whereas, you see, thought cannot be a source of truth because it's the past, the activity of the past, and the past is limited. You have abstracted, the brain has, the whole of humanity has abstracted certain things from in the past, and also the information is incomplete. It can never tell the whole of what is, or even only a small aspect of what is. And insofar as there's an area which can be relatively independent, then we can use that, and then we have to see that it isn't independent, and then we may see whether we have a form of thought which takes that into account, and so on. So I think that that should make it clear what we mean by thought. Now, the intention to think can easily be conscious, but there's a kind of intention behind thought, but we don't seem to be conscious of it. Something is an urgency or a impulse, right? And not necessarily only intention, but also impulse. Like we have an impulse for thought, right? Which impels us, pushes us. Now, could we? I don't know if we could be aware of that.
dbohm.com